Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today. My name is James Henderson. I'm with Mindsy, a leader in process intelligence and business process modeling solutions. For today's webinar, we're going to focus on the journey from BPMN into intelligent action. And for this journey, we're really going to focus on 5 key steps in terms of how we go from just mapping and designing processes all the way through into delivering AI-ready data and AI agents. And as we go through it, I'll talk about some of the benefits of building from stage to stage, as well as the importance of really leveraging each stage. In today's era, of course, we are all being driven and encouraged to push right to stage 5, which is deploying AI agents. And I will tell you from talking with leaders, executives, top-tier consulting firms, and others, that most of these projects are struggling to deliver real results. And it is really coming down to the fact that skipping to stage 5 and deploying AI agents before you have all of this infrastructure and all these building blocks in place creates a world where the AI agents are acting without context. And we'll talk a little bit about that in today's session as well. We'll try and leave some time for questions. I expect we'll probably take about 20, 30 minutes of your time. But thank you again for joining, and let's dive right in. So it reminds you when we think about moving from business process modeling all the way through into intelligent action, as mentioned, we really think about it in 5 core stages. And each one of these stages is really a foundational step to ensuring success of the latter stages and ensuring that you are truly prepared and truly understand what you're getting into with each stage that you move across. The reality for organizations across the globe, whether you're a government agency dealing with customer journey, digital onboarding, tax, whether you're an infrastructure company, whether you're in oil and gas, utilities, manufacturing, supply chain, we're all facing the same challenges. We're flying blind with what we think the business and how the business works to what the business actually is and how it actually works. And this lack of visibility, this lack of understanding, really causes a lot of challenges. And you'll see it through here that it really is independent of industry. And I'll respond to the chats as they come in here. IT, telecom, all the same challenges. Systems of record, collecting large volumes of data, and thank you for the question, but still flying blind with the same challenges that they don't truly understand how the business operates. And the larger and more complex the business, the less visibility leaders have into what's actually happening. And frankly, the more critical it is for those leaders to have visibility into what's happening. If you think about a small organization, it's a very tight-knit group of individuals, and the leaders and managers of individual departments tend to be very entrenched in the day-to-day operations. So they know down to every minute detail exactly how that business is operating. But as businesses grow, as they change, as they get to scale, as they become large organizations, business processes become more complex. Approvals become more complex. Compliance becomes more complex. And with all of these things, it really causes organizations to struggle to continue to understand how their businesses work. And the consequence of that is quite serious. If you think about process improvement initiatives, a staggering 68% of them fail. So that is more than 2/3 of initiatives that fail. And when I say fail, you have to understand that it's really about failing to deliver on expectations. There was a promise that we were going to be able to do this thing, and it just doesn't happen. And it really results in, if you look at the global loss due to business inefficiency, $2.9 trillion. There's a stat in a comment that says roughly 30% of an organization's profit is lost due to their own inefficiency, their own waste internally, their own complexities, their own lack of operational excellence. So it is quite a huge task, which is why so many businesses invest so heavily in it. 87% of executives state that they lack real-time operational intelligence. The leaders that are charged with the final decisions, the ones that need to make key strategic decisions on where the business should go and what to invest in and how to improve, don't have the insight they need to make informed decisions. So it really, if you look at these compounding challenges, it is quite a significant opportunity when you think about why and where and how business process intelligence really plays a fit in every organization. So when we talk about how we get there, as mentioned, I think about it like a 5-stage journey. In Mindsy, we do this journey in one continuous platform, but today we're going to focus on the steps more than just our platform. And these 5 key steps, again, are designed to really build on each other. And as we go through each one of these steps, from process modeling, right, truly designing and understanding what our processes should be for compliance and training and all the other benefits, into process mining, understanding how things actually run, what I refer to as process monitoring, right? Now that we've processed, we want to monitor it and understand exactly what's happening and watch for these critical stages and critical SLA potential violations. What I refer to as operational intelligence, and I'll describe that a little bit later. And then once we have all those foundations in place, then we are truly ready for AI agents. And I will tell you that with each one of these stages, depending on the business requirements and depending on what's needed, some businesses don't need to go all the way to stage 4, stage 5. Some of these solutions and business challenges they're facing may not always require these agentic agents. And that's why it's really critical to start at phase 1 and build and make it a journey for the organization, whether you're the owner of a business process, whether you work in a continuous improvement department, or whether you work across organizations in a consulting format. All of those scenarios are potentially available to you. And I just had another question come in from the audience in terms of using Software AG. Software AG is another platform. Mindsy in general competes with Software AG, both on the modeling side and the mining side. But we do have customers, yes, that are using both. We have some that are doing their modeling in Software AG and doing their mining, monitoring and operational intelligence, stages 2, 3, and 4, right within Mindsy. So it really depends on the objectives and what you're looking for. So as we continue, the first stage really is around process modeling. And I think this stage is immensely critical for every organization because it gives you an understanding of what is truth. And that truth really stems across how a business process is designed to operate. And I will say from personal experience, it really is the foundation that everything else builds on. The other interesting part about taking the time to model a process is it actually provides clarity. And it provides clarity across stakeholders. So every stakeholder understands as part of that activity of modeling the process, they are forced to articulate what should and shouldn't happen, who needs to be informed, what happens in different scenarios. And it really helps everyone understand how the business should run and that particular business process should run to ensure that it is successful. And there are a number of benefits when you think about modeling, and that's why it's been around so long. At Mindsy, we're a huge believer in modeling, and you'll see some of the reasons why. And that's why we have now entered the space as well with a AI-driven process modeling solution that can ingest models from third-party systems, that can ingest SOPs and turn them into models that can allow people to describe their process in natural language or even take images and then model the process from there. And the reason why it's so important is everyone now understands clearly how the process is meant to be done. And these become not only the foundation for everything, they become the basis for compliance evidence. Do we understand our process? What is the process? Are we following the process? We're able to deliver those audited pieces of documentation and process models very quickly to auditors. So it reduces audit complexity. It surfaces what SOPs might miss because you're actually defining the path and who owns each step. So whereas an SOP is really good for executing a process model is really good for defining and ensuring that each critical activity is actually followed. And above all this, that's not on this particular slide, is they're immensely powerful for training. Now you have domain knowledge that's been taken from someone who maybe has been in the company for years. It is now documented. It can now be used for training purposes, for educating new employees, for doing refreshers. So it becomes now this playbook on how to actually run that department's process, rather than it being subjective and just domain knowledge of long tenured employees. And really, from a modeling perspective, I encourage organizations obviously to start with their most critical, but they really should move across any business process that is multidimensional, that goes across departments, that can be complex, or if they're scaling, almost any process that they can take the time to document, because it allows them to scale more efficiently and really get that tribal knowledge from core employees documented efficiently so it can be leveraged properly. And once everything is documented, I then encourage people to move into what we call process mining. And process mining within the kingdom obviously is a newer technology being deployed by a lot of organizations, where modeling within the kingdom has been around for quite some time. Mining is a new growing effort that we're seeing a lot of organizations move into. And some of the reasons for that is it now takes that idea of those modeled processes and now lets us look at what we call the as-is process, the process as it is happening within your system's live data. So we can see, are those live processes running the way they should be, and comparing them to the modeled process along the way as well. From a Mindsy perspective, I will note, and we'll talk about this, we do all of this on-premise or within data centers within the kingdom, to ensure data sensitivity and data requirements are met. But when you think about process mining, think about this as the next step in your intelligence journey. And it's really designed around ensuring that critical processes are operated and operating efficiency, what I call mission critical processes. You're not typically gonna process mine every process, although you could, but it's really designed around mission critical ones. And I'll give some examples. So if you think in a utility, these are things like meter to cash, from the time they request a customer to be turned on to the time they start getting paid by that customer. In supply chain, it's the procure to pay process. In manufacturing, it's production planning. For IT companies, it can be service and support. It can be finance processes like AP, AR, anything that is mission critical, right? If you think about a government organization, we've done things like digital onboarding, digital transactions for customers to ensure that they are efficient and they fit with Vision 2030 of efficient business processes. All of these mission critical processes are captured in structured data systems, and they contain the answers that you're looking for process mining helps pull it out. And to the question that came in, mining can support even if there is no automation, but it does require that the data is available in a system. There is something called task mining, which tracks what users do on their workstation, but it's not necessarily used for continuous improvement, which is really what this particular webinar is focused on. Feel free to reach out to us at Mindsy, and I'll share our contact information if you have more questions on that later. But mining is really designed to leverage the data that's captured in mission critical systems. So this will be systems like SAP, Oracle, Microsoft. It could be healthcare systems like Cerner, but it can also be homegrown systems within organizations. So meaning it could be a banking system for digital onboarding. And all they need to do is make sure they track the time and date of critical steps and capture that within a database or a system of record. And then process mining can go in there and mine those and transform them into an as-is version of the process itself. But it does require the data. And why that's so important is if you have that information, you can start mining it, you can transform it into exactly what the process is, understand how well the process is being executed, where there is waste, where there's loops, where there's unnecessary approvals, things that really cost the business time and money. They slow down how well and how efficient that particular process is. That's what process mining brings to light. On top of all of this, if you leverage it and overlay the modeled process, you can actually deploy the model process within Mindsy and have it continuously check the modeled process versus the mined process. So now we can see how well this particular process is being executed versus how it was defined for compliance and conformance reasons. So now we get a real-time data-driven picture of where the opportunities are to drive improvements in the process, to drive operational efficiency, and drive compliance in the process. And both of those things save the business time and money. So they allow the business to be more efficient. They allow it to scale with less resources. They allow to assure it that critical tasks and SLAs are being done on time and not just at the 30,000 foot level. Process mining looks at it across each activity. So we can see not only is the SLA being hit overall, like most traditional systems, but we can define SLAs at every single step within a process. So we can make sure that at each critical step, it's moving through the process efficiently. And we can instantly see root cause, which is another benefit of process intelligence, of exactly what's causing those delays and those compliance issues. So you now take your modeling or your model processes and you effectively bring them to life with process mining. And now that we have the process mining implemented, the next stage now allows us to move into what I call process monitoring. So we've now modeled and defined what our processes should be. We've mined from our systems of record our critical processes. So we can define SLAs, start looking at compliance and all these things. And once we have this discovery moment and we're able to truly understand how these critical processes are working within our organization, we can now move into monitoring. And monitoring allows us now to, exactly as it's described, continuously monitor the process to ensure that we can get active and proactive notifications in terms of what's happening. So if there are compliance issues that are skipped, if there are SLAs that are being missed, we are now able to define all of these right within the platform and actively track them so that key staff can get the information they need to act. So this could be, hey, we are overdue on a manager approval. We're going to set up an alarm right within the system to now notify that manager of exactly what's happening. If We want to ensure and track compliance. We can send our compliance officer instant notifications, alerts, and information as things happen in terms of potential compliance breaches. So we can actually proactively monitor this, ensure that the right information goes to the right people to take proactive steps. We can intervene in the process in real time as it's happening now to ensure that SLAs don't get missed, to ensure that compliance things don't break. And we can even integrate the platform into third-party systems as well. So they can drive tickets, they can put things on hold. All kinds of actions can come now from these monitored processes to ensure that we are taking proactive approaches, all the way even into you can leverage process monitoring and overlay it with AI predictive intelligence. And really the beauty of AI predictive intelligence is it buys your organization time. And what I mean by that is because it's predicting potential issues in the process later on, this thing is going to be late. This could be a compliance violation. It gives your team more time to act and more time to get in front of potential issues that could be coming. So we've modeled, we've mined, we're now monitoring and ensuring that our processes are running as efficiently as possible. The next stage in the journey is really to move into what we call operational intelligence. So with the 3 key stages behind us, we now want to surface insights, drive concrete recommendations, and really deliver the intelligence that the organization needs to act. As you saw in the beginning of the presentation, staggering 87% of executives say they don't have the information they need to be able to act. And what they need is not just another dashboard or another spreadsheet, because they struggle to understand how to interpret it, right? What does this number mean and what should I do to improve it? At Mindsy, we believe that's a critical challenge, and we see it across the globe from the companies we work with in South America, North America, Asia Pacific, across the kingdom, or across Europe. It is really a systemic problem across all executives. And to solve that, we deliver what we call operational intelligence. This combines the power of process mining and that knowledge of how the business should work with your process models, and packages it all together into an operational intelligence report that goes beyond your standard metrics and KPIs, that tells the executives exactly what's happening, whether they're doing better or worse, what's causing that, right? Are we seeing supply chain issues because of our German operation? Are we seeing issues because we can't get the pieces we need from Asia Pacific? It tells you exactly what's causing it and makes recommendations on what the business can do to improve it. So going beyond just another dashboard or another set of metrics and KPIs to true intelligence that tells the executive what's happening, what's causing it, and gives recommendations on what they should do about it. And these operational intelligence reports are designed to be configured based on the user that is receiving the insight. So they can be designed for executive level, they can be designed for operations teams, but all with that same context of giving them exactly what they need to be able to make informed decisions about the business. So now that we have modeled it and the entire business understands exactly what's happening, we have mined the critical processes, and we can see from the data itself how we are functioning. We are monitoring those critical processes to ensure our SLAs and our efficiency stays as good as we can possibly be, as well as compliance. We are delivering intelligence to every layer of the organization. We are now ready to explore AI agents. The largest problem with AI agents today, and every organization is racing to them, is that the AI agents need the business context to operate efficiently. They need to understand what is okay and what's not okay. how should a process be executed. These are called guardrails, and they help reduce AI's hallucinations and the mistakes that they make. I was actually talking to an executive the other day who said the AI agent is now making so many mistakes that our team has to fix that has actually slowed down the organization rather than made it more efficient. So they've deployed AI, but they were coming to us to leverage our process intelligence platform to start feeding the AI agent that context and knowledge to help eliminate those mistakes that are being made. And once you move to this, you can now feed AI agents of any shape or form. So if you're already deploying AI agents, if you're using a third-party AI agent infrastructure, Mindsy can interface to it to feed that information that the agent needs, giving it the context that it needs. So ensuring that the agent understands what is good, what's bad, what can be executed, how should it be executed, when rules are broken, and allowing the people who are configuring the agents to define some additional intelligence to understand that if something is deviating from these design processes, loop it to a human. Don't make your own decision so that you get human in the loop intelligence. The other thing that I will say about agents is it also is very important that you continuously refresh their memory. Agents, like humans, have a tendency to drift over time. So if you don't refresh their business context, they have a tendency to start making mistakes over longer periods of time. So it's not just a one-time thing. We want to build this as digital transformation infrastructure that allows all of these layers to orchestrate together. And if we do that, then sky is the limit. You can create a very efficient organization that actually operates across businesses, across departments, across different business segments, all built for the way that your business actually operates. And I state that because it's a major thing that Mindsy has invested in to ensure that we meet a business where it runs. And what I mean by that is the ability to bring your own LLM server. So for data sensitive industries, we worked with a lot of government, healthcare, financial sector. They're investing in their own LLMs that are trained specifically to their business operations. Mindsy allows and can be connected directly to those. So we don't force you into our own LLM AI infrastructure, allowing you to train and build predictive insights, use low-code analysis tools. There's even full API and MCP servers for AI agents, as well as the ability to design custom actions and even build and publish out custom apps and KPIs. So really thinking about it as a foundational platform that your organization can build and put the intelligence and the requirements that they need in as part of the deployment. So it is not generic out of the box, but it's designed to help your specific organization operate as efficiently as possible. And when we put all that together, really each stage unlocks the next stage. So with our modeling, we share now a baseline across the organization of what a process should be. With mining, we now compare that reality to the design and look for where the gaps are in terms of intent and execution. And then as we move into monitoring, we can now stop problems before they happen with AI predictions and early warnings and automated actions and notifications. Moving into AI intelligence to now take all this information and intelligence that we are tracking and package it and deliver it to the people that need it with the proper context, with the recommendations they need to be able to act efficiently. And then last, but certainly not least, taking the step into autonomous improvement and leveraging AI agents that are validated on process truth, that get the process context they need to operate efficiently and allows us to drive significant potential improvement from operational efficiency, compliance, and everything in between. So what we see from this is really process efficiency driving significant gains for organizations. Huge efficiency gains, process coverage, better audit and prep, really a whole laundry list of benefits that organizations can see across the board as they go through each step. And I can't state it enough that with each step, it builds upon the next or the last. But with each step, you are delivering value to the business. So it's not a 2-year project before the business sees any value. Every step that you take in terms of modeling, then mining, then monitoring, then operational intelligence, then AI agents, is delivering added value for your organization. So a couple other key points before we wrap up. One, Mindsy is delivering process intelligence across the kingdom. We understand the requirements both from not only a operational efficiency and what people want to get out of it, but also from a compliance and data perspective. Our data centers are right hosted within the KSA itself, are all ISO 2701 certified, and unlike most solutions out there today, we also fully support on-premise or private cloud deployment. So you can take Mindsy and go completely air-gapped and have it completely independently deployed within your own infrastructure for data-sensitive industries. So we do this for a lot of different industries across the board, especially ones that are migrating from potential legacy modeling platforms or legacy mining platforms and are being told that they have to go to cloud. Those organizations are choosing Mindsy because it gives them the flexibility they want to deploy where they need to meet data sensitivity requirements. So we build and connect not only your organization across the board with what's happening and how it's happening, but we also do it in a manner that allows you to leverage your own infrastructure. So as mentioned, being able to take for organizations that are building and deploying their own LLM servers, being able to leverage that infrastructure and connect Mindsy to it. So you get all the AI intelligence benefits that are built into Mindsy, but they're now custom tailored with your context, your trained models, and your data safety and security. So nothing ever leaves your infrastructure. And that ensures that you get one intelligence platform that can take you right across your journey, from ensuring compliance to your own LLM integration, to government-ready deployment, all across the board. So we go from really starting your journey all the way through to taking you into the full operational intelligence package. And what that does for businesses, it allows them to find the 20% that's costing you 80%. Most business inefficiency, most businesses that struggle to find how to improve, discover that it is the 20% of the people, the process, and the plan that cost them the most loss. And again, depending on where you look, the average is roughly about 30% of potential profit that is evaporated because of inefficient business processes. So thank you everyone for joining. Again, my name is James Henderson. You can reach us at www.mindsy.com or info@mindsy.com. For anyone that wants to get a hold of us, we do a tremendous amount of work within the region itself. We do have offices as well within the Middle East, and people and partners available to support. If you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out, and we're happy to explore if Mindsy is a good potential solution for your next process intelligence initiative. With that, have a great day. I'll do a quick scan of questions in case there's anything else. So just to reiterate, yes, we support across all industries. So we support a wide range of industries from healthcare, IT. We do work with government, to the question in the comments here. So quite a broad range. We do have teams and partners in the KSA that can support, and happy for the person who asked to get an intro and a demo session set up you can either send us an email at info@mindsy.com, or I will take your contact information from the webinar today and have someone follow up directly as well, and we can get something scheduled. With that, thank you everyone for joining. Have a great afternoon. And if there is any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I will also share this recorded webinar out as well. If you want to share it with any of your colleagues, it will be available in recorded session, and we'll share it out with everyone. Thank you.